Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of day it is, wherever you are right now. Thank you for tuning in to the Conversations with Dr. Don show. The show is produced and broadcast from the Portland, Oregon area. And for your first-time viewers, Conversations with Dr. Don is an ongoing series of one-hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting people like most of you out there about who they are as unique, one-of-a-kind individuals, and about whatever it is we've decided to talk about. And tonight, we decided to talk about Julie Mae Hales, classical crossover inspirational singer. Julie Mae Hales, classical crossover inspirational singer. And as you know, the show goes in two major segments. The first segment is what I call the bio segment, where I talk to my guests about who they are personally, so you get an idea why it is they say what they say in the second half of the show. And Todd Hoffman has done the show a number of times in the past for a number of reasons, which we won't go into right now. And he turned me on to you, and that's why you're here. And I'm really looking forward to it because I heard one of your songs that you'll be doing. And tonight's show is different in that we'll be doing three songs written and sung by Julie Mae Hales. And then we'll have commentary after each song as to what the song is about. And we'll continue on to the whole show, and you'll get a chance to be seen all over the world.
Thank you.
All right. So.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Let's start with Todd, okay? And then we'll come back to you.
Okay.
If I were to ask your best friend, Todd, to be your best friend and your best friend, who is your best friend? And he would talk to you and say, Todd is what? What does he think about you?
What he thinks about me, truly, my best friend thinks I could walk on water.
Okay. So when and where were you born?
I was born in Madison County, Illinois, in a small town called Wood River, Illinois. 1931. Don't tell anybody.
Why were you born?
Where?
Why?
Who knows?
This is going to be a great show, I can tell right now. Okay. Any racial or national or cultural heritage worth mentioning to the viewers?
Not really.
You're just all plain old American white bread,
Yes.
Huh? Oh, man.
My dad came from Ireland. My grandmother came from Germany.
Yeah, okay. And do you have a religious preference?
Protestant.
Protestant. What did you grow up with kind of religious preference? Did you have one different than that?
No.
Okay. And your formal education, never mind Juilliard right now.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah, that was it, huh?
Juilliard and life.
And life, yeah. And you did 2 years with Juilliard and...
I did 4 years at Juilliard.
Yeah.
Paid for by two wonderful, wonderful people, two doctors, a lady doctor and a male doctor. They were husband and wife in New York. And they liked my talent when I was young. And they paid for my education at Juilliard. And they said, we got a deal. If you promise not to work and practice your playing and singing every day, your 4 years at Juilliard are paid for. And I said, well, I got to live, I got to pay rent. And I said, you have an open checking account for those 4 years till you graduate.
How'd you fall into that?
I was playing piano, and right after I got the Army, I went into New York City. I wanted to be a professional musician, so I was playing piano out in the Bronx in a honky-tonk bar where they had fights. I'd crawl under the piano. And these two people dressed to the tins came in one Friday night. And then they came back the next week on Friday and Saturday, and then I didn't see them. Then they came back one more night, and they were both doctors. And the lady doctor said, we really enjoy your talent. I said, thank you. They came back the next night, which was on a Saturday. They said, we got this deal. So that was the deal. 4 years.
4 years.
4 years at Juilliard. Majored in voice, minored in keyboard.
And you have a partner, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or?
When I got out of Juilliard, I auditioned for the Metropolitan Opera, and they needed a high tenor, so I was a tenor, so they hired me, and I was with them 18 months. Then my landlord in New York says, I don't care what you sing, I want my money. And the Met doesn't pay a lot of money. So I quit and auditioned for Broadway. I met a young lady who was a German girl, a ballerina, and we both that day auditioned for Broadway. In about 2 weeks, we got the word that we had been accepted, and so for 29 years, we worked singing and dancing on Broadway. Just like crazy people.
What a history. So your whole life has been music and music and music and teaching and...
Yeah, well, it started when I was in the Army. They made me assistant to the Chief of Chaplains of Europe in Germany.
Chaplain?
Chief of Chaplains, I was his assistant.
Oh, yes.
And we traveled all over wherever there was a military base, that's where we would go. So I had a world tour, free and fun.
What a story! Because you've been my voice teacher now for some time now, a music teacher. Was it 3 years now or something like that?
Yeah.
And I've improved some, and there's a lot more to go. So that's why
you improved a whole bunch.
And you're not married now, then?
I beg your pardon?
You're not married, huh?
No.
Why not?
Who knows?
I love his answers.
That's awesome.
And politically, are you a left, right, or center, or what? Are you just moderate, or are you not sure?
I am not sure. Everything's so messed up in the politics anymore. I just know I'm not a liar.
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you liar. See, he always confuses me. Okay, one more question for you, then we're going to go over here to Julie Mae. Persons from the past or alive today that impressed you or you admire, any names come to mind besides this couple who paid your way through Juilliard?
The only persons that I really got close to were a couple of the people I had worked with all those years, professional stars, as they called them.
Yes.
And the one who was a wonderful person, terrible life, wrong choices in life was Miss Garland, Judy.
Judy, you knew her?
Judy Garland lived with my lady friend and I for 18 weeks before she passed away.
Oh.
And one day she found out that Florence, who was one of Richard Burton's first wives, opened the first disco in Manhattan. And she said to me, Todd, I want to go to the opening. I know Florence. So I took her. And then she started going back and forth every night for about 2 or 3 weeks. And one night she called and said, I'm not coming. I said, what are you doing? She said, I'm with Florence. Next thing you know, she came back 2 days with this young boy. I called him a boy. Judy was 47 at that time. He was 21, 22. And she said, we're going to London tomorrow. I'm going to open up at the Palladium. I said, don't do this, Judy. She said, oh, he loves me so much, I have to do it. I said, Judy, they all loved you for the money you make. And well, they went. And it had to be 3 weeks later, I got a phone call in the middle of the night. Someone called me and told me that Judy is dead.
Oh.
She OD'd. And so 3 lovely people paid to bring her body back, brought her a crib upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
It was the largest funeral I'd ever seen. And I don't know what happened to the boy, but I heard later from some of the family that he married her because he wanted to fleece her like everybody else did.
Well, so you know Judy Garland, and there's a whole raft of people, big names, in the business that you had associations
Smothers
with.
Brothers,
Smothers Brothers.
Tommy and Dickie.
We're going to have some time left over for our number 1 guest over here. So let's move over to you. What kind of singer-songwriter are you? What kind of?
I always say I'm a classical crossover singer along with an inspirational singer. A lot of the music I write is about inspirational things. I write a lot about topics that most people don't write about. A lot of female artists won't touch these topics, like suicide and death and just and mental health, those type of issues.
Yeah. Can you speak up a little bit, please? Just a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Now, what is a dramatic coloratura soprano?
So with a dramatic coloratura soprano is either your chords are thick or they move. Being a dramatic coloratura soprano means they do both of those things, and it's one of the rarest voices in the opera world. And they're very powerful. So we can go into the rafters, but we can hit it really hardcore with our singing voices. So it makes it really fun when you're hitting forte going up there. Or using forte.
And I've heard one of the songs that we're going to be playing later on.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hear the other 2, so I'm looking forward to hearing those because, as Todd said, you got to hear her. And when I realized, what is this? You were right on. This beautiful. But anyhow, I'm talking way ahead of time. So, when did you start singing?
I started singing as soon as I could talk. So I loved singing from a very small child, singing like primary songs. And like my parents were always playing Phantom of the Opera and Cats and country music. It was just all over the place. And so I loved just singing a ton of different types of music.
Who were your teachers?
So, sorry.
Who were your teachers?
So my first teacher was Pamela Wright, and I was only with her for a short period of time. And then my second teacher, one thing about training your voice is you should always find a good teacher with good technique. My second teacher didn't have good technique, so I had to relearn a lot of the stuff she taught me. Mm-hmm. And then my third teacher was Todd Hoffman, which it was really great training with him. He gave me my confidence as a singer for sure, and definitely started the groundwork for my instrument. Mm-hmm. And then I currently study with Jordan Corbin, who is opera trained, so she's an opera singer, and she trains me in that type of music, opera, and she's also encouraged me to write songs and works on technique and all sorts of stuff like that. So I train weekly, so I take voice lessons. And I just keep on trying to get better and better because I feel like as a musician, there's always a next level that you can reach as a musician. Like you can always get better and improve your instrument. And I feel like teachers can hear things that we can't hear as performers and as singers.
Yeah. I think I know where you're coming from. I'm coming to this game later on in life than you are, of course. You know, mm-hmm. Did you tell her I'm 90 years old next month?
I did not. I told her you were going on 19.
Emotionally, I'm 9. Okay, so we can start playing Light a Candle. Can we do that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It'll be on in a moment.
Paves the roads to bear.
has a Broadway touch to it.
Yes, yes.
It sounds like something that, we talked about him before. What's your name? Jessica.
Oh, Jessica James.
No, the guy, the composer.
Oh, Sondheim or
Yeah,
Andrew
it sounds
Lloyd
like something Mr. Sondheim would write.
Oh, really?
That same flavor of music.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's arpeggios in the left hand. Yeah, great.
Yeah. Still beautiful.
Thank you.
How did that song, that creation of yours, come into being?
So,
Tell a little background on that.
yeah, so my voice teacher encouraged me to write songs, which I had never, I mean, I'd always written poetry, but I hadn't really written down and wrote a song. And during that time, two of my best friends, their dads were diagnosed with cancer. And then soon after that, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And so I decided I'm going to write a song about this. And it was probably one of the hardest songs I've written. And I just decided like I needed to get this out and I needed to write something about that. And one thing that I did do is one of my best friends, her dad did lose his battle with cancer, which is really sad.
Wow, a lot of cancer, huh?
Yeah, we were all going through kind of the same thing, which was great that we had like that support system and we could talk to each other. And my voice teacher, while I was writing the song, was saying, you really need to end the song. And I was like, I don't want to end the song. I can't end the song. It would mean like my dad would lose his fight. But luckily, he's still with us, thank heavens. But one thing that I took from my best friend, Renee, is she told me this beautiful story where her dad would always call her on the mountain pass right before Spokane and ask them if they were okay. And she said after he passed, she saw this most amazing rainbow light their way. And so I took that and I put that in this song and added that to end the story of this song. But I also just want to point out that I'm really grateful for my teacher, Jordan Corbin, where I basically write songs on my phone, where I write the melody and I write the chorus and I write the bridge. Yes, I use my voice. And then I'm so lucky because my voice teacher comes up with the arrangement for the piano. And then the strings that you heard was arranged by Philip Peterson, which is an amazing arranger. That I'm super blessed to be able to work with both of them on this project. So a lot of the music also comes from them as well.
It was very well done. Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
You were right. She's just terrific. Yeah. So, what about Wanted? Shall we play Wanted now?
Yeah, let's play Wanted.
Yeah.
Like a scarecrow, you might feel empty. Like this world's not meant for you. Your soul may feel like it's dying, watching the pain fade from view. You are crying for someone to notice. The anguish is too deep. You feel abandoned and unwanted. How can you ever find peace?
beautiful.
Years ago, there was a singer, Yuma Sumac.
Yes. Oh, how
She had
many
the range
octaves?
like this. She's got that type of range that Yuma has. She had fantastic vocal range. She said, "That's a wonderful range she's got." And
I know enough to know what you're talking about anyhow. I'm just a novice at this kind of a thing. So, how did Wanted come into being? I'm going to read a little bit that you said in writing.
Yeah.
You just released your first single, Wanted, on September 10, 2018. That song was written for Suicide Prevention Week.
It was, yeah.
You're interested in suicide prevention. After hearing another person that she knew had taken their life, she decided to write a song from the perspective of someone who is trying to convince that person to not end their life.
Correct, yeah.
This song talks about how everyone is loved and wanted. A message Julie feels that every person should be reminded of every day. Interesting how you are that concerned about other human beings and people thinking about ending their own life. You're
Yeah.
so full of compassion and feelings. It's wonderful.
Thank
And
you.
I hear it in the quality of your voice.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I wrote that from such an emotional place. Like, I found out that that person had passed, and that day I wrote that song. That song was literally completed that day. The only thing we added was an outro at the very end, where we decided that we needed to repeat "You Are Loved" a million times and go right into the rafters, and that was the only thing that changed through that songwriting process. And it took me the longest time. It took me the longest time to sing this song, because I still, when I sing the song, I just want to cry, because it's just such a powerful message that, like, everyone is loved and everyone is wanted. And once again, we don't hear that a lot in our society. It's always, let's be perfect, let's and I think it's just such an important thing to know that everyone is so loved.
Yeah, if they can look in your eyes as you're singing that song, I think they'll get the message.
Exactly, yeah. If they didn't get it the first time, then the second outro of "You Are Loved," I'm sure, will come across that way.
So, let's do Inner Strength, the next song, okay?
Yeah.
I have traveled many roads, some to spare, some
just want to clap.
Thank you.
Did you hear that scat? Scat is when she went way up there and was on pitch. All the way up and all the way down.
Okay.
Yeah, I tend.
I'll remember that.
That's so hard to do.
Oh my goodness. I tend to like write, like when I'm writing, I always tend to use my full range, which is kind of hard because I'm like, oh man, now I have to sing that. I make my songs complicated.
Let somebody copy that.
Yeah.
This music all sounds so much like Steve Sondheim.
Stephen Sondheim.
It sounds like the same things he writes, you know.
Came from consideration of anxiety and depression. Man, you're talking about anxiety and depression, those kinds of emotional ups and downs and struggles.
Yeah.
I wonder what was going on when you were thinking about the lyrics and this song and practicing it and doing it. Anxiety and depression. Any personal consideration about anxiety or depression for
Yes.
your young years?
Yes, my whole family has anxiety, so it's something that we struggle through. And it's just, and I think it's a good thing in a way because it just makes me want to just be better. But, you know, it's like you can have anxiety. Oh, how are people going to perceive this music? Am I good enough? I've always just struggled with those things. And I think it's good because then it forces me to be a better musician and a better singer by always, you know, trying to be the best I can be. And this music for me, it's about touching people's lives. Like that's the whole reason why I make music is really, it's about bringing more light and love into people's lives. And I hope that this music will do that for people.
So you'll be singing on stage or in person?
So my next performance is, I believe it's December 16th. It's on a Monday in December, and I'm doing a full Christmas concert with my voice teacher and another singer. And we're just doing Christmas songs, which is like my favorite type of music is Christmas songs. Like Oh Holy Night is really fun to sing. And we do it at Chapel Space. So what we do is we collect cans for Northwest Harvest. And we've been doing this for 4 years now, where we collect cans, and that's the admission to come to the concert. So
I'm tempted to ask you to do a cappella Oh Holy Night.
Oh.
Oh, holy night. You'll yell at me because I'm going to be off key anyhow. So, well, I was so anxious to get going to hear your music until I didn't talk to you about who you are and those kinds of things. Can we go back a little bit
Yeah, definitely.
and talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I were to ask your best friend, who is Julie Mae Hales, what would your best friend say? She'd say, Julie Mae Hales is what?
She would say that I'm very sweet and very kind as a person.
Is that true?
Yes. I try to be kind to everyone. I make it a point since I was bullied a lot through childhood and through being a teenager. So for me, life is so hard. Why would you be mean to someone personally? So yeah, I try to be nice.
Just want to beat them up. I'll go chase them down for you, right? Won't we, Todd?
Yes.
And when and where were you born?
I was born in Arizona in 1986, so I'm in Marysville, Arizona. So like an hour from Phoenix, Arizona.
One
somewhere
more
there.
trick question for you. You
Yeah.
ready?
Uh-huh.
Do better than he gave me the answer to. Why were you born?
Because my parents wanted a big family. I'm the second of 5 children.
Second of 5.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And brothers and sisters?
I do. I have, so I'm the second oldest, and so I have 3 brothers and a sister.
Do they look up to you as the oldest?
I'm the second oldest.
Second oldest, okay. And I hope they've got a better memory than me. And anything significant about your cultural heritage or racial heritage or
not
just American white bread?
Not necessarily. I mean, I have a lot of ancestry from like England, Scotland, and Ireland, and other places, so kind of mixed in.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And religious preference, do you have one, or is
Yes.
it important to you?
Yes, so I grew up in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and if you don't know what that is,
Yes,
the
of course.
Mormon Church.
Yeah.
And I think that just had a huge influence on me and how I create music, and also how I'm inspired and how much my faith makes me the person who I am today, for sure.
Did you ever smoke?
No, never smoked.
Okay, I know. The Mormons I've met seem to be so healthy.
Yes, we don't drink, and we don't drink coffee, so.
Yeah. How about your formal education? You're still in
So
school?
for me, I decided to go to nanny school after graduating high school. So I did that. It was like a 7-month program, and I've been a nanny ever since. So I've been doing that for the last 11 years, which I absolutely love working with children. And you can sing to them. So what can be better?
Do the children that you sing to like what you do?
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Like the lullabies and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and Old MacDonald.
And so you're a nanny after a number of years, huh?
Yeah.
You're going to stick with that?
I am, yeah. Like I hope to continue that and also pursue music. I decided to go down in hours so that I could really focus on creating my album, which I've been working on for the last 5 years. And I realized that in order to finish that album, I really needed to go down in hours so that I could focus on it.
You're going to keep Tawd up to speed with your development?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like right now I have 4 songs recorded, and by the end of this year, half my album will be recorded. So I'll have 5 songs recorded by the end of this year.
That's
And 5 of
really
them are
cranking
original
it out.
songs, so.
So you don't have a boyfriend, a girlfriend?
No.
Okay. And are you available? You don't have to answer that.
Yeah, no.
You're so busy, yeah. Here's a stumper of a question for you.
Okay.
You should be able to answer this. The difference between sympathy and empathy.
Ooh. That's a good one. I guess with sympathy, you're sympathizing with people, and with empathy, you're showing love and compassion to that person. So maybe listening more to that person.
Some people say you're feeling with the other
The person, yeah.
Empathy, I think. What do you say about that, Todd?
I believe you.
See, he does that to me all the time. Yeah. And you belong to any social or civic organizations? You're so busy doing your nannying stuff.
Oh, what do you mean by that? Like social media or?
Social media. Clubs, organizations.
So I created a social media fan club called Love and Light, and what it is so people can put down like their inspirational thoughts and inspirational stories and share things, which is great because as a songwriter, like I love hearing people's stories and stuff because it makes me want to write more and get more inspired. So I'm hoping that people join Love and Light, which is on my Facebook page. So if you look at Julie Mae Hales on Facebook, then you can look up Love and Light.
Love and
you
Light.
can join
How long
it.
you
So
been
please
doing
join.
that?
I just started it, I want to say a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And it seems like people like it, so it's just a way to create a community of people who like the same things, who want more light and love in their lives. So.
Yeah. So, anybody from the past or alive today that you admire or look up to, any names come to mind?
I think
besides Tawd.
yeah, Tawd is awesome, and I've been very blessed to be able to work with him as a teenager. The whole reason why I decided to create this album is my grandma passed away, I think it was 5 years ago. That's when I started with this journey, and I sing this beautiful song called Going Home, and by the time I was done with that song, the most amazing thing happened. I don't even know how I got through that song, honestly, because I was crying while singing. don't know how that's even possible. But like when I was finished, there was not even a dry, like everyone was crying. It was the most amazing thing that I've ever seen. Like my grandpa, who never cries, not married to my grandma, but who never cries, was crying, and it was the most amazing thing. And people came up to me afterwards and like, you need to record going home. You need to pursue music. You need to actually pursue it. Because for me, for the longest time, it was like, oh, I'm just gonna train and train and train and train and take it to as far as I can. I'd always wanted to be a professional singer, but I didn't think it was possible. So I was like, I'm just gonna train. But after that experience, it just lit a fire in me that was like, no, you need to share your music with the world. You need to spread more love and light with your music. You need to not hide it under a bushel and share it. And so that was a great eye-opener for me. And my grandma, bless her heart, she was in pain her whole life. And when I got to that line, like no more pain, I just felt so strongly that she was no longer in pain. So it's probably the most powerful song that I've ever sung live. And so
Are you familiar with that song? Going Home? Dvorak wrote that.
Dvorak, yeah.
Vaguely,
I'll
yeah.
have to teach you that song.
It's beautiful. You'd absolutely love
Beautiful
it.
song.
It's just so heart-wrenching.
Oh, wow. It's been delightful having you on. And I'm wondering what you can say to the viewers about your journey in learning music and singing. And you said a lot about it so far, but look in that camera there and tell the viewers what you think would be useful for them to know in pursuing their own interest in music and singing and writing.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think the biggest important thing you can do is to find a good teacher. It's so important to find a good teacher like Todd, because if you're not learning correct technique, it can really mess you up. And it also, I think it's also good to practice. I mean, if you want to get good at an instrument, my dad was like, you need to practice an hour a day or more. Like if you want to get good, you need to practice. And I think also just believing in yourself as a person and being like, I can do this. Like, I can do this. And I think the most important thing with music is it's the emotion, right? I mean, the most important thing is the emotion of music, I think, and how you can convey that, even if you decide not to be professional or anything. I think for us, music is just a universal language. Like it touches us in ways that nothing else will touch us.
I like how you said that, like nothing else can touch us. And I've only recently appreciated singing and music, and it is indeed, and I brag about it right now because at such a late date, I'm aware now there's another language, a whole different universe, so to speak, yeah. So you're going to let Todd know when you'll be singing in public and we can come see you?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yep. December, I think it's 16th. It's on a Monday. I rented this beautiful chapel called Chapel Space. It's absolutely stunning. We don't use microphones because the space is just so stunning. The acoustics are amazing.
The acoustics.
Yes, just beautiful.
And where is the place again?
It's in, I believe, Wallingford in Washington, so near Seattle, or part of Seattle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You're really serious about this, aren't you?
Well, it's the 4th year going, so.
How'd you find Todd as a teacher?
That's a great question. So my dad found Todd, actually. So he went to a concert, Michael Allen Harrison concert, and his student sang Jessica James. And my dad was like, ooh, I need to get, like, he immediately asked Jessica James, who's your teacher? And so she pointed at Todd, and my dad started talking to Todd.
You know, this is a second voice student that I've had that has succeeded so and gone so far with her music. Jessica James was one of the beautiful voices in the world. I got her a scholarship to the American Academy of Voice and Drama in New York City. And from there, she graduated and is doing a show in Edinburgh, Scotland. Mm-hmm. Now we have this lady that's going to do a show and take over America.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
With her crossover music.
Yes.
Yeah, we need better recognition for that kind, because it's so rich and crossing over, and I can't tell where the crossover happens. I know it happens in the impression I have, the feeling I have as I hear you sing. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the future too.
Yeah, fun story about Todd actually is I remember when I first met him and he told me you're on probation.
Probation.
You're on probation.
What did you do to get probation?
He hadn't heard me sing yet, but he shared Jessica James her CDs.
Yep.
And then I sang, and then he's like, "Oh, off probation." And I was like, "Yes."
Her parents would bring her from Vernonia,
Yeah.
Oregon, to Portland on Sundays.
Or on
Every Sunday.
on
That's a long trip.
I think it was it Saturdays? I think it was on
Saturdays? I
Uh-huh.
think- yeah, Saturdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they saw that you had this talent and it had to be nurtured.
Yeah.
But she was so quiet.
I'm
She
still
was-
quiet.
she was like a dry sponge. She just soaking it all up and not saying anything, never asked questions, but she soaked it up.
How about
The
you?
proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Well,
How about your brothers and sisters?
yeah, so my parents, I think every family focuses on something. And my parents, it was music for us. So all of my siblings play an instrument. So two of my brothers took from a Ukrainian teacher, Tatiana Middlecamp, and she's a fabulous teacher. And my sister took from her too, classical pianist, like full on like hardcore classical music. And then my brother Joe, he did the oboe.
I'll be darned.
So all of us were very musical, and my dad, he had always played like guitar or clarinet, but he decided in his 30s, like, I want to learn to play the piano. And so he taught us that it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still learn an instrument, and he became my accompanist. And he would spend 6 months to a year learning, some of those hardcore songs. Like with "Oh Holy Night," I made him learn 5 flats so I could go into the rafters with that one. So I made him work.
Changing the subject.
Sure.
Do you know what happens when you talked about 5 flats? What happens when you throw a piano down a coal miner's shaft? You get A flat minor.
Oh, no, just cut that. We're going to edit that out. I knew it was coming. Yeah. So it sounds like you had a good early years, and I'm looking forward to the future because I want to see when you're going to be on The Voice one day.
I don't know if I have quite the right instrument for that, but I hope to definitely spread my music as much as I can.
Yeah.
And share it as much as I can, because once again, I just feel like these messages can help so many people, because once again, these subjects are never talked about, hardly ever, especially mental health and suicide. Like, who writes about that stuff?
But there's the song and the lyrics and the music, but then the person who's delivering. And that's why I asked you about in person, because I can hear this, but to see you and experience you in person as you're singing this beautiful stuff and the coloratura, that's something added. Without that, it's only just very good. It isn't superb. Yeah. So, looks like we're running out of time, but I have a couple of public service announcements because I'm a political animal, if you don't mind. And I want to tell you about a couple of organizations I belong to. I belong to the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU. You ever hear of them?
Can't
It's
say I
really
have.
important, yeah, because civil liberties are so important in our lives, and without them, we would just be a milquetoast country. And civil liberties are incorporated in the Constitution, and we got to protect them because there are certain people who are not very nice, who decide that you shouldn't have a right to vote or you shouldn't be all that sort of thing.
Definitely.
So I've been a member of that organization for a number of years, and I can't remember how long it's been. And I'll be a member till I die.
That's awesome.
And the the American Civil Liberties Union, the Alliance for Democracy, that's an organization that works on political issues in our country to be sure that everyone has a voice, and that our democracy continues growing and budding out. The Alliance for Democracy, and there's the website. And another public service announcement is ending corporate personhood. I'm very political on you. I'm sorry about that now.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Because the Supreme Court decided that corporations are persons and money is speech. And that's very dangerous to our democracy, this great, great country of ours, this great experiment in America. So we got to move to amend the Constitution so that we can say that corporations are not persons and money is not speech. And if we say that and we incorporate it in our system, then we can have more freedom and do something about the over control of people who are rich like you, Todd. All right, so it looks like it's time for us to stop visiting and get ready to say goodnight. Keep those pens and pencils handy because you may want to jot down something that will show you in the closing credits. And thanks for watching. I invite you to give us feedback, both positive and negative. And I got an announcement here saying that I should thank you for watching. And I want you to remember KFC, and not Kentucky Fried Chicken, Dr. Don's KFC. Kind, friendly, and charitable. Be kind, be friendly, and be charitable to you too, and you too even. And you too. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.